Well, hello there. How you doing? Yeah, I just want to get right into this. I'm going to give you a demonstration and talk to you about the Trinity of consciousness. Yeah, this is Tom, and this is the INFJ experience. So I'm going to get right into it, okay? So we got the Trinity of consciousness. Basically, we have mind, soul, and spirit. Okay, now I'm going to say that is your Trinity. So basically, they all kind of intertwine as one, and that's basically our consciousness. So, all right, I came up with a formula for consciousness, all right? So basically, we got a formula here for consciousness. Let me explain to you what that is. So we have B. B equals, that is your brain. So your brain equals all of this. So brain equals NU/EI. So brain equals neurons and electrical impulses, basically. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that, okay? That's basically it. Your brain equals neurons and electrical impulses. Now, people, that's basically what we are. That's basically what our consciousness is. That's basically what our mind is. Our brain, let's just do a little demonstration of what the brain is, okay? Forgive me with my artistry, people. I'm not the best at artistry here, okay? I'm just going to give you a little bit of a kind of a breakdown. There's a little bit of a thing there, and there's some glands in there. Okay, that's awful. Okay, so like these represent the folds in the brain, okay? So, I know, this is awful here. Good gosh. Hey, I was never quite an artist, people, okay? I'm just trying to give you an idea what that is. Okay, imagine that being a brain. Just use your imagination. This is the brain. These are your folds. You have two hemispheres. You have your left and you have a right hemisphere. You have a cerebral cortex in the back. There's certain regions of the brain that have different functions. Now what I'm going to say is that this is the mind part of this equation, okay? Brain is the mind. So basically think about this, right? The reason we think in dimensions, and we do have thought patterns, and I'm going to explain why that works the way it is. We have, in order to hold a thought, in order to hold a memory, anything in your mind, in order to hold any kind of information that is saved, all right, there has to be a certain level of memory. Of course, we have memory, and that's a lot of what our mind is memory. Now, how does memory work? Okay, think about it. Again, the brain has trillions and trillions of cells. Within this, there are trillions of cells. And of course, each region has a certain process. I mean, this region might be the part that receives information for your sight. This part back here might be the information that receives your information for your hearing and things like that. So different regions are control different parts of your body's functioning, your senses and things like that. But also different ones are your intellect. Some of these parts here are the ones that think and have store memory, things like that in your intellect. As you know, there are trillions of cells in the human brain. All right, so in order to retain a memory, okay, this is a part of your brain, like just the cell part of your brain. Now, there could be thousands of these. I only drew a handful of them. There's just like maybe 15 of them here. But imagine there's thousands of them. Now, let's say you try to remember something. You have to study for a test. You study for something, and you have to quiz it. You're trying to memorize things. And you repeat things over and over again because you're trying to set a pattern. You're trying to set a pattern for these neurons to fire. Basically, we have electrical impulses going between these brain cells. These are the neurons. I mean, your brain is basically one giant electrical current in a way. It's just an electric charge. It's a battery in a sense, and it's always firing. These neurons are constantly going in our brain, and they're creating these thoughts. So when you're trying to remember something or learn something, you're trying to set a pattern. You're trying to set your brain cells to think. So you get this firing this way, and then the sequence might zap over to this one to fire that way. Then it might go to this one, okay? So it might zigzag a little bit in order to create a certain memory in your mind. And there has to be, now this sequence has to be the same all the time. So then it might fire over here, it might fire over there, It might fire through there. And so then, but the thing is that this memory that you have, this retained memory, has to have that, the sequence has to remain the same in order for the memory to be the same as well. Now, so basically that's it, okay? So that's just the firing of neurons in the brain. Now understand this also. We think in 3-dimension. Now if you think about it, now of course this is an INFJ station, and this is my channel. And as you know, we're INFJs. We're typically fascinated with the brain and psychology and how the mind works, because we want to understand how our brain works. Now, understanding too, our consciousness is not just it's not just flat. It's not dimensional. In a sense, when you think about it, our mind is 3-dimensional. Our waves, our brain waves are 3-dimensional. Our whole mind is a dimension in itself, and it's 3-dimensional. And the reason being is because that firestorm, that electrical current that's going on, is actually firing in every direction. Even though it might be a cluster of cells, it might cluster thousands of times for these memories, for these impulses. But they're firing in sequences. They're going back and forth, they're going up and down, they're going sideways, they're going in a 3-dimensional pattern as they fire, as these neurons fire in your brain. So that's actually giving you a thought process in 3 dimensions. And so think about it. It's just basic. It's an electrical current charge that is giving us a sense of awareness, a sense of our thoughts. All right? So that's pretty deep. So that's basically what's going on inside that brain. All right? That's the basics of it. So we got that. So the brain equals the neurons, as I said, and the electrical impulses of the brain. All right? Divided by your soul. Okay, now you say, well, what is the soul? I mean, we know what the soul is. It's basically, it's our life. It's just basically who we are. I mean, we're born, we're a soul, we're a life. But the thing is the fact is that you can't say, here's where the soul is. Here's the organ, or this is the part of the brain where the soul lives. We can't do that. I mean, we have a center of consciousness. Usually it's between the eyes. I mean, a lot of times, you know, in some of these Eastern religions, you know, like they put like they may put the dot in between the eyes to symbolize that's the center of consciousness. I mean, it seems as though we're in our head. That much we know. We're basically in our head somewhere. But the thing is, our soul, we can describe it as our life, but it's not an actual tangible organ that the soul is kept in. You can't say, okay, here you go. There's where the soul is. I mean, each one of these are, you know, so there's no physical function of the soul. But the thing is, we know we have a soul. It's just a kind of an internal knowing that we exist, that we mean something, that we have something important that we represent in this world, okay? So that's basically it. Now, our soul is timeless, and it's actually still. It doesn't think. It doesn't process. It's not doing anything in that way, but it's an awareness. It's just a light. It's almost like a beacon of light that's just there. That's just a spark that we're alive. And it can't be seen. It can't be actually physically tangible, but it is there. Because we know that. Because we just know that as human beings, as INFJs, we just know we have a soul. And it's just there. But it's timeless. And it's motionless. And it's still. It's like that eye of the storm. It's like that the center of a wagon wheel that doesn't spin. It's the center of who you are. And of course, then you have your spirit. Now let's describe what a spirit. Again, a spirit you can't find the spirit. There's not an organ for the spirit. There's not a place in your mind that has the spirit. Nothing of that. But it is an intangible awareness is what it is. Now the way I'm going to describe to you what the spirit actually is, it is where our inner code is transmitted to us. Okay? Now what I say by inner code, basically that's it. I mean, each and every living thing, especially animals, all have a living code. Seeds in a plant, seeds in flowers, there's a code within there. It's a genetic code. You could call it genetics. I mean, we have codes within our physicality as well. We know that you plant the seed of a certain tree and it grows into the same kind of tree that the seed was from. That leaves looked similar. If it came from a maple tree, then it's going to grow another maple tree. Even though these seeds look somewhat different, that's a code that tells us what it's going to be. So these are physical genetic codes. All right. Now your spirit goes beyond that. Your spirit is a code in a sense, but you're being fed. Your code is basically almost like, the way I'd like to describe your code is it's almost like a beam of light. It's like, imagine a prism. Okay, let's get a prism. Okay, it's a triangle. Yeah, and of course, as you know, light shines in, because basically our spirit is like light in a way. That's the way to describe it. So it's like a beam of light. So that beam of light shines through there, okay? And it bends a little bit, and it refracts. And of course, it changes. That light has changed because of the refraction. Now, this could be happening in water. Clear water can refract the light as well, and it comes out another way. It comes out like color, like that spectrum on the other side. It bends it a little bit, and then it comes out as that spectrum. So, but my point is, people, is that that's the only way I can describe to you what I think the spirit is. Now, we are fed information. Basically, we are born to know things. We are born to understand things that goes beyond just what we're being taught. The things that we're taught in school, what we're taught from our parents, taught from society. We are not just that. We're not just sponges of our senses. We actually have a spirit which shines through, which gives us information on reasoning, information on behavior that we are just born to know. I know society has a lot of ways of squelching that, of telling us that it doesn't exist. That's a whole other subject. I don't want to get too much into that. All right? I just want to describe to you that that's where our information is coming from. That's where our soul is, that's where our spirit feeds us, our information for our inner compass, our inner guide. All right? So this is basically it. We have a trinity of consciousness with a mind, the soul, and the spirit. And I've already explained that these, most of them, some of them are tangible, which is the mind, but a couple of these are intangibles. These are intangible consciousness, but we know they exist. All right. So basically, that is basically it, people. Now, let me just add just a little bit further to this whole point. This is one of the reasons why it's important for us to sit still, sit quiet. This is why it's important exercise for not just INFJs. This could benefit everybody to sit quiet, sit still a couple times a day if they can, and try to find that soul. Like I said, that's the stillness. Sometimes closing your eyes, sitting quiet, meditating, finding a way to find that inner core, sitting quiet, and somehow if you separate the jumble of our thoughts, get out of that lightning storm in our brain, okay, by finding our stillness in our soul. And that will actually cleanse our soul to the point where we have a clear signal into our spirit. I mean, a lot of times that thing's cloudy. I mean, a lot of times if we don't meditate, that whole prism thing would be cloudy, and we're not really getting that information. That beam of light isn't really making it through. So by sitting still and meditating, we clear out that lens a little bit so that we're able to receive information from our inner core, our inner code, in a clear sense. Okay, that's basically it. Now, people, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to say that was the demonstration. I hope I demonstrated to you the trinity of our consciousness. Now, as you know, people, this is the INFJ's experience, and my name's Tom, and so this is the channel. Now, listen, people, if you like what you see, if you like this kind of content, please, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Give me some thumbs up. Let me know you like this. Leave some comments if you like this kind of thing. And let me know if you like this content. So, well, people, thank you so much for attending again. And until the next time, have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.